Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I've seen this trend on TikTok, tell us your unbelievable ghost stories. And I know I'm a little late on that. I don't really post on TikTok as much as I guess I should. I also obviously don't post on YouTube as much as I'd like to. But I have so many stories. I do have the 10-minute option on TikTok, but I like YouTube better myself when it comes to long form videos. So I figured I would just tell you about what it was like living in what I feel like was an extremely haunted house. But after watching many episodes of A Haunting over the weekend at work, I don't know if it was just they're over exaggerated on there, which I'm sure they are. But I had it rough, but they had it rougher. There's people out there. I know there's hauntings out there that are worse than what I grew up with. And also children that had feelings about the places, like I did. And their parents didn't listen because they thought it was this, that, or the other. But let's start with, so in 2006, we decided to move back from Florida back to Kentucky. And my mom, originally they wanted to move to Knoxville, Tennessee, because my dad's job had a base there that was in Florida, also had a base in Knoxville. So we were like, okay. I was 8 at the time, 9 at the time. And so my mom and dad went and looked. We all went and looked at different houses between Knoxville and the state line. Well, in 09 to Tennessee, my mom and dad saw a listing for a house just on the other side of the Kentucky state line. And they didn't know it was in Kentucky when they first saw the listing. The realtor told them, once they asked about it. And it was in rough shape. It had been foreclosed on before. It sit for a little while. I don't know how long. It wasn't that old of a house. It hadn't, I think I looked and it had been built in like 1995 or something. It's not very old. The couple that lived there actually wound up, the wife, or ex-wife, I don't think they're married anymore, wound up working with my mom at Walmart later. So there's that. But anyway, it was a foreclosed on house. So the house had sit vacant for a while and it had been stripped. It was rough on the inside. My parents bought it for $25,000. It was a 4-bedroom, 1-bath house with a basement. Fully finished, I believe, basement. And $25,000. Granted, that was in 2006, the summer of 2006. They didn't put that much in. I always heard bought it for 25, put 25 in it. My mom said they didn't put 25 in it, but they put, fixed it up and made it really nice. Had to completely redo most everything in it. The bathroom was completely redone. Went from having just a bathtub shower combination thing to having a jacuzzi tub with a standalone shower, that kind of thing. And, him and my grandpa worked on that house for 6 months. They bought it in I guess it was July. We moved up here. We lived in just across the state line while they worked on it. It was my grandparents. And we didn't move in until around Christmas of 06. So they worked on it for a while. I don't know, and I haven't really talked to my dad about it because I just know how he reacts to this kind of thing. So anyway, my dad and my grandpa worked on it closely, in the house. I don't know if they experienced anything. I haven't talked to my dad about it because he's weird about that stuff. I do know that he experienced something one time at least. That wasn't at that house. It was at the one we lived at in Florida before that. But, so we move in. I'm not really sure how long it is from the time we move in to when the activity started. I know it wasn't an extremely long time, but it took it a while to build up and do bigger things. One night, we were all down, I have two siblings, a brother and a sister, and we were in the living room, and my parents were in bed. So it's set up, the house is set up this way. You walk in the front door, you're in the living room. To the back left of the living room is the bathroom. And then if you go to the right, back a little bit, it's the kitchen, my parents' bedroom, meet in the same space. And then, kitchen, my sister's bedroom is on the opposite side. My parents' room was here, my sister's room was here. And the stairs to go upstairs, my brother's room was the first room when you got upstairs, and then you go across the top and mine's over here. And we heard something, I think we were watching a ghost show actually, and we heard something walk from my room to my brother's room and stop at the stairs. So, scared kids, we didn't know what to do, we didn't know what it was. We got up, we ran upstairs and laid down, we didn't see anything. Freaked out. I don't know why we ran to it, but we ran to our rooms. So, my sister didn't really sleep in her room, and honestly, I get it now, looking back, because when I would get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, or even in the middle of the day, I didn't like to look in that bedroom. I think whatever resides in that house resides in that room. Why that one in particular, I don't know. But it was always just the worst feeling and the darkest room in the house. And my baby sister got put in there. But anyway, before we moved in, when we first looked at it, I probably should have started here. I didn't like it. I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach that it just wasn't good. And we'd visited so many houses, I didn't care. At this point, just find somewhere if you want to move. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Didn't sit right with me at all. I told my mom about it, and she was like, oh, it's just because you're scared of heights and it's got stairs and your room will be upstairs. And I was like, no, that's not it. Stairs don't really bother me that much. I don't know what it is, but I just don't like it. I was 9 years old. I don't blame her for not listening, but I think some parts of her wish that she had now. But anyway, go back to that. And then one night, I'm sitting in my bedroom. So mine and my brother's room share closets. They have a little bitty hallway with a closet on each side, and then our rooms are here. We didn't have doors. There really wasn't a setup for doors upstairs. There was a setup for a door at the top of the stairs, but there wasn't a setup. Closet space didn't bother me, whatever. We hung up a sheet when we got older. But anyway, I was sitting up one night. He was in the bed, and I was sitting right beside that entryway, directly in front of my TV, because I had a tiny little 13-inch box TV. And I was set up on top of it watching it. My brother had this dresser that had a mirror on top of it. This may cause my fear of mirrors. I don't like mirrors. I don't think mirrors should be anywhere in the house except for the bathroom. But anyway, I was watching TV, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see something, and I look over, and it's like a draped, hooded figure thing walk across the mirror. It didn't, I think it might have been in the mirror, but it walked across it and it was just gone. And I was like, okay, did I just see that? Because at this point, I'm only 9 or 10 years old. I'd never experienced anything like this. I didn't know what was going on. So anyway, I don't remember if I told anybody right after that happened or not. But for the rest of the time we lived there, most nights you could sit up, and even you could lay in bed, and I could lay in my bed in my room and hear whatever it was walking. You could walk from my room through my brother's room downstairs, and then it would stop. My mom was always like, oh, I thought it was just you coming to the bathroom, but then it just stops at the foot of the stairs. Yeah, why would I just stop at the foot of the stairs and not turn around and go back? but I never saw anything. And then there was a time we were all sitting in the living room. I don't know if my dad was in there or if he was in the garage next door to the house. But anyway, we were sitting in the living room. The bathtub water turns on by itself. And we're all just like, huh? How does that happen? It was an odd occurrence. We got up and turned it off, and then there was another time that it turned on, and then it turned itself halfway off. In the moment we heard it turn on, we got up to turn it off, it turned itself halfway off, and I was like, okay, you know what? There's a ghost in here. For sure. My sister claims that she saw this very tall shadow man thing in front of my mom and dad's bedroom door one time. I did not encounter that, thankfully. The straw that broke the camel's back for me, though, and I would not spend time in that house by myself, I was playing outside, and I went inside to use the bathroom. And I kid you not, I was getting ready to walk out of the bathroom, and I heard this little girl laughing. And that was it. I ran outside and said, I'm never going in that house by myself again. There were so many just weird things that happened. Stuff would go missing, as it does with that, and then you'd find it in a weird place later. I found matches in my bedroom dresser one time. I don't know where they came from. I don't have the slightest clue. It was just so many weird things, and I left that house in the summer of 2015. I turned 18 years old. My parents got divorced. That's another thing. So there was, I think it fed on our fears, but I also think it fed on my mom's addiction. She became addicted to narcotics. And trying to think of benzos. I can't say the full word. And it got really bad, and I think it fed on that and caused her not to be able to kick it, very quickly. Anyway, all of that to say, that house made me who I am today. Oh, another one, but I don't think this has anything to do with the house. It's just a happy story. Not really happy, but better than the other that I couldn't explain. On May 30th, 2012, my grandfather passed away. I was in the hospital with him when he died. We come home that day and open the front door, and I'm the first one in the front door. And there he is, just sitting on my couch, smiling at me. And then he's just gone. That's not got anything to do with the house. That's just, he was coming to let me know he was okay. But it did happen in the house, so I figured I'd add it in here. But yeah, the house made me who I am today. It made me ask questions and question my surroundings, and made me wonder, what can cause these things to happen. And I would give anything to investigate that house. Like I said, my parents don't own it anymore. They got divorced, and all kinds of things went down with that. And so the house got foreclosed, and, somebody else bought it. And I thought very much about writing them a letter. I mean, the worst thing they can tell me is no. But what I wouldn't give to see if I could figure out what was in there. And, see if I could get some closure on that, because when you're a kid and you grow up with these things, especially when your parents don't listen and they don't believe you. I mean, now my mom's starting to believe some of the things that happen. She lived it too, is the bad part, so I don't know why. We were talking about the water episode the other day. She's like, yeah, I remember when that happened, but I thought it was one of you guys. We were all piled up in the living room when it happened. And people are like, oh, water pressure can... But the place was completely... I mean, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but the place was completely remodeled and it only happened twice in 9 years. So you tell me that the water pressure is what caused that to happen? It was a wild ride. I'd give anything to go in there one more time with some ghost hunting equipment and see if I could figure out who's in there or what's in there. Because I don't think it was a demon or anything like that. I mean, I do believe in that evil spirits exist. I mean, evil people exist. I don't know what was there beforehand. I'd like to do a little deep dive of the history. I'm not sure where to start. I think I went to the library one time and they told me that they didn't have records like that. And I don't know. I need to figure out where to go to get the history on the place. I do know the man that built the house. He lived across the road from us. I do know, he lived in a trailer on that lot before. It burnt down, built the house, whatever. But I don't know what was there before that. One night I took a picture down, because it sits, the front of the property is flat, kinda, and then the back drops down dramatically into like a valley. And I took a picture of that one night. There was just red orbs and orbs everywhere, but there was a bunch of red ones scattered in and a bunch of just different colors, but the red ones kind of freaked me out. I don't really know what they mean. I don't know if I ever looked into that. I don't know. I tried not to do too much when we lived there because it scared me of what I would find. But I'm not scared anymore. And honestly, I would stand my ground these days and tell it to leave me alone, like I do with the spirit in our house now. But, yeah, thanks for watching.